You ever been out in the dead of winter, miles from nowhere, with the wind just clawing at your soul like it wants to rip you apart? Yeah, that's where Jack Harlan found himself one night. His old Ford pickup choking out its last breath on that godforsaken stretch of blacktop snaking up to Willow Creek Hollow. Kids in the back, little Ellie with her big eyes all wide and scared, and Benji, barely 8, curled up like a frozen pup under that ratty old blanket his mama had sewn years back. Groceries in the bed, spoiled to hell before they even thawed. And Jack, he's slamming the hood shut, fists balled up against the cold, whispering, "I'm sorry, kids," into the howling gale, knowing damn well it might be the last thing they hear if this blizzard doesn't let up. Man, you talk about feeling small. Jack's been carrying the weight of the world since Sarah passed 2 winters ago, scraping by at the lumber yard, patching holes in the roof with duct tape and prayers, too proud or too broken to ask a soul for help. And there they were, stuck, hope leaking out like antifreeze from a cracked block. But see, that's when the rumble hit low at first, like thunder rolling in from the ridges, cutting through the wideout like a knife. Headlights punched holes in the snow, 3 beasts of chrome and thunder crawling up that road, exhaust pipes spitting fire against the frost. Jack steps into the beams, half thinking he's hallucinating from the chill, heart thumping like a jackhammer. Engines cut, and the leader swings off. Big old boy named Boone Bear Harlan, no relation, thank God, beard crusted white, eyes like chipped flint under that battered helmet. "Truck's toast," he growls, voice steady as the pines. Jack nods, chattering like a fool, kids inside. No heat, no grub. Bear's gaze flicks to the cab, catches Ellie's little face pressed against the fogged glass, and something shifts in that stone-carved mug of his. No words, just a bark over his shoulder, Rusty, Jack's, saddlebags, and these 2 leather-clad giants dismount, yanking out jerky sticks tough as boot leather, crusty loaves of bread still warm somehow, and a thermos of venison stew that steamed up the cab like a miracle. Ellie gasps as the heat hits her cheeks, Benji slurping from the lid like it's the elixir of life, and Jack's just standing there, snow whipping his face, watching these road warriors. Rusty forge, cane with hands like hammered iron, and Jack's raven lock, all sharp edges and quiet fire, tend to his babies with a gentleness that don't match the ink snaking up their arms. Bear claps Jack's shoulder, heavy as a promise. They ain't going hungry tonight. Not on our watch. And just like that, in the middle of nowhere, Jack feels the first crack in that wall he'd built around his heart. Crack of warmth. Yeah, but also fear. 'Cause who the hell are these guys, really? Storm's raging harder now, burying the Ford up to its axles. But these boys? Unfazed. Raven tosses Jack a riding jacket, reeks of oil and rain, and that wild freedom Jack ain't tasted since he was a kid chasing tailpipes down back roads. "Put it on or turn to ice," he mutters with a crooked grin, and inside, Forge is tucking Ellie's blanket tighter, his scarred knuckles brushing her cheeks soft as a daddy's whisper, "Hang in there, kiddo, we got lines on our side." Jack's chest aches watching it, 2 years of solo nights flashing by, empty plates, bedtime stories read solo, that hollow echo in the cabin where Sarah's laugh used to bounce. He'd been a ghost, drifting through Willow Creek Hollow, the kind of town that chews up stragglers and spits 'em out, all tight-knit suspicion wrapped in flannel and church potlucks. But here, on this frozen vein of asphalt, these outlaws in black leather are shouldering his load like it's their own damn birthright. Truck's deader than disco, Jack admits with a sigh that fogs the air, and Bear studies the wreck, nods once. Then we ride. All night if we gotta, till those young uns got hot food in their bellies. Jack hesitates, glancing back at Ellie and Benji, but Ellie's piping up soft from the cab, "Daddy, I trust him." And hell, that seals it. No room for second guessing. Convoy forms with a rumble that shakes the snow off the branches, Bear pointing the way, Jack climbing on behind him with Ellie wedged in front, Benji tucked safe in the sidecar, Ravens rigged with extra blankets and a thermos strap. Forge rides drag, headlights slicing the blizzard like defiant swords. Roads a white blur, wind screaming bloody murder, but those Harleys? Stubborn as sin, pushing forward, engines growling low like they're daring the storm to triumph. Jack clutches Benji close weight. No, he's got Ellie on the hog with him, Benji's heartbeat thumping steady against his ribs in that sidecar, Neston feels the boy's fear easing into something like wonder. Ellie peeks over the blanket, eyes lit up. They sound like dragons, Daddy, breathing fire. Miles melt away in that iron symphony, broken only by the wind's whine and the occasional crackle from Bear's pipe. Yeah, he puffs one even in the gale, cherry glowing like a beacon. For Jack, every shiver drags up ghosts. Late shifts at the yard coming home to cold suppers. Benji asking, when's Mama back? With that quivering lip, Ellie's drawings of a family whole taped crooked on the fridge. But tonight, that silence is getting filled, layer by layer, with this raw, unasked-for brotherhood. He watches Bear signal Aline. The whole line banking is won through a hairpin, and it hits him this ain't blood tying him. It's the sheer gut will to not let the dark win. Hours drag like a bad hangover, but the storm finally blinks, spitting him out into the valley glow of Mule's Crossing. A greasy spoon truck stop flickering neon against the night. Tires crunch ice as they roll in. Jack easing Ellie and Benji down, their cheeks flushed pink again, life creeping back in. Inside, it's a hug of warmth, grease and bacon and coffee thick in the air, folks mid-bite freezing as the door bangs open. Boots thudding heavy, vests dripping meltwater, whispers rippling like pond stones. Who the hell are those boys? Mix of terror and that hillfolk awe, you know? Jack and the kids slide into a vinyl booth, and bam plates stack high with eggs sunny side, flapjacks drowning in syrup, sausage links sizzling in the house. Courtesy of the Road Kings who plunk down at the counter like they own the joint. Ellie's grinning ear to ear, syrup smeared like war paint. Benji's giggles bubbling up between chomps. And Jack? He's just sitting there, fork hovering, eyes stinging hot. Bear leans across, voice gravel low over the din. We ain't no choir boys, Harlan. But no young un beds down empty when we're rollin'. Jack swallows the lump, nods slow hell. In that neon haze, he swears he sees Sarah's smile in the steam rising off his coffee. Storm didn't break, it dropped saviors on two wheels, angels with grease under their nails. Dawn's painting the hollow gold when they rumble back to Willow Creek. Harley's escorting like a royal guard. Engines echoing off the clapboard cabins still half snowed under. Curtains twitch, old Mrs. Whitaker peeking out, jaw slack as these leather phantoms haul grocery sacks into Jack's place, cans clinking like victory bells. Ellie squealing as Forge hoists her onto his shoulder, steady as oak. Benji lashed onto Raven's vest like a baby koala, hollering faster, Uncle Jax. Jack's in the doorway, gratitude twisting with that old worry word's gonna fly, and Willow Creek don't take kindly to transients, especially ones who roar in on hogs and look like they stepped off a wanted poster. But watching his kids light up, laughter spilling free for the first time in forever, something shifts in Jack's gut, like a knot finally loosening. That night, after the engines fade to echoes, the cabin don't feel so hollow. Anna Marie, it's got the ghost of revs, the scent of pipe smoke, men who braved hell to keep a fire lit. Jack whispers to the dark, we ain't alone no more, not knowing yet how heavy that truth's gonna weigh. By Monday, though, the hollow's buzzing like a kicked hive. At the feed co-op, whispers trail Jack like smoke from a chimney. Mrs. Whitaker hissing loud to her bridge club. First the devil's choir shows up, then the devils do. He pays for his flour and milk, shoulders squared, but his belly's churning acid. Yard boss pulls him aside at shift's end, toothpick wagging. You drag that biker trash round here, Harlan, and you're out on your ass, kids, or no. Jack bites his tongue bloody, cause every sawdust paychecks the line between beans and bone broth for Ellie and Benji. Evening rolls in, fire crackling low, and Ellie's tugging his sleeve soft. Daddy, why's everybody mad at the nice men? They fixed us. Benji chimes in, all earnest fire. Yeah, they saved us. Hat makes heroes, right? Jack stares into the flames, throat tight. Folks round here, they fear what don't fit their Sunday suit, sweetheart. Seen it chew up better men than me. But unease coils deep, cause Willow Creek's always been a powder keg of grudges, old timber feuds, land grabs dressed as neighborly concern. That busybody HOA crowd up on the ridge, lording it over the hollow like they own the dirt. Jack's just collateral now, painted with the wrong brush. 2 nights later, he's trudging home from the yard, boots crunching fresh powder, when headlights bloom early in the dusk. Bear, astride his beast, cigarette trailing lazy smoke like a peace flag. Hollow giving you the business? He rumbles, blunt as a hammer. Jack pauses, then nods, the weight spilling out unbidden. Inside, Ellie and Benji bolt to the door, beaming like Christmas, and Raven's already kneeling, fanning a deck of cards for Benji's grubby paws, while Ford shows Ellie how to twist leather scraps into a bracelet, his big paws comically careful. Jack leans on the wall, torn clean through town's venom seeping in like damp rot. But this cabin's glowing now, alive with rough jokes and kid squeals. Bear stubs his smoke, eyes steady. You didn't call us, but you didn't shove us off neither. That counts for more in blood, Harlan. Family's the ones who roll up when the world's gone blind. Jack's throat closes up first time he's let those words land, really land, cracking open that armored loneliness he'd worn like a second skin. But not everyone's buying the fairy tale. Enter Harlan Hawk, Voss feed store baron, Willow Creek's self-crowned kingpin, nursing a grudge deeper than moonshine rotgut. Voss built his empire on undercutting timber folk during the lean years, strong-arming leases with smiles that didn't reach his eyes. And now these biker ghosts? They're the perfect scapegoat for his empire-itch outsiders stirring up the Hollow's underbelly, threatening his grip on the co-op votes. The Ridge HOA whispers that could unseat his sway. Jack catches him at the tavern one dusk, Voss holding court over stale peanuts, voice slicing sharp. Those road rats? They drag in vice like ticks on a hound. Harlan sides with them? He'll learn how quick we bury our own. Jack's glass creaks in his fist, knuckles white, but he bites it back home's waiting with Ellie's giggles and Benji's crayon Harleys with flame decals. Fragile as wet paper, that piece. Next morning, he wakes to tire ruts carving muddy figure eights round the cabin, firewood scattered like pickup sticks, shed door stove in with a boot print grinning mocking. Jack cleans in silence, rage simmering low, dread twisting at cold Voss's handiwork, no doubt, flexing for the Hollow to see, reminding Jack who's got the pull. That night, the boys roll up unannounced, Bear scanning the mess jaw set. Message from the shadows, huh? Forge cracks knuckles like gunfire, eyes thunder dark, say the word, we answer. Jack swallows hard. The storm ain't snow anymore. It's brewing human, ugly, rooted in Voss's fear of losing his chokehold. That old resentment flaring caused Jack's daring to lean on folks Voss can't control. On the porch, snow squeaking underfoot, Bear lays it bare quiet. Two roads, Harlan. Duck low, pray they tire, or stand tall with us means you wear their spit same as our ink. Jack stares at the moon-silvered ridges, Ellie's trust echoing, Benji's laugh a shield. I ain't chasing trouble, Bear. But if standin' keeps my kids from the dark, hell I'm in. Bear nods, heavy as fate. And just like that, Jack steps into the roar, the road ahead a gauntlet of loyalty and lead. Winter bites deeper, but Jack's kids? Warmer than a pot-belly stove. Ellie's sporting her leather braid like a talisman, Benji clutching a whittled hog raven carved from pine scrap, vrooming it across the floorboards. Hollow's murmurs swell, though yard hands clamming up when Jack clocks in. Sunday pews scooting inches away like he's contagious. Walking home one gloaming with the young uns, he finds it. Crude plank nailed to the door. Reapers, ride out or rot. Ellie's clutching his coat, voice tiny, and Jack rips it down. Jaw grinding splinters wants to cocoon him from the bile, but can't. Not when it's seeping through the cracks. Despair's knocking loud when headlights flare the reapers. Boots crunching a perimeter. Bear reading the signs stone-faced. Lighting up slow, smoke curling judgment. His quiet? Louder than a shotgun ain't alone, not ever again. Next dusk, Jack hauls in from the yard to find M waiting. Crates of canned peaches, wool throws thick as sin, cordwood split and rickied neat. Ellie and Benji whoop, darting through legs like puppies, and Jack struck dumb, why keep pouring in? Bear exhales slow. Once, a stranger did same for me, pulled my scrawny ass from a ditch outside Tulsa. Fed me when the bottle was my only kin. Road repays, Harlan. That's the code. Forge smirks, draping a patched jacket over Jack's arm heavy. Oiled leather humming with rain ghosts, for when the wind cuts meaner. Inside, Benji's trouncing Raven at Go Fish, Ellie's bracelet glinting as she cheers, laughter a balm against the gathering gale. Jack breathes deep, cabin pulsing family now, watches Bear by the window. Sentinel in the gloam, these ain't just helpers. They're claiming him, weaving him into their iron circle of fire and fealty. But peace shatters like cheap glass on a Friday close. Shadows peel from the yard as Jack locks the mill gate. 3 figures, chains rattling low, Voss front and center, smirk oily under the mercury lamp. Hollow, don't cotton to your new pets, Harlan. He spits, stepping close, breath sour with whiskey and Spytights personal now. Voss's throne wobbling cause Jack's alliance shines light on his backroom deals. Those HOA strings he pulls to keep the Hollow bent. Jack squares up, pulse hammering. Ain't your call, Voss. My kids eat cause of them, not your charity sermons. First chain whistles never lands. Harleys erupt like Judgment Day, beams blinding, reapers swarming in a leather tide. Snow erupts in chaos, fists cracking bone, chains glancing off pipes. Voss snarls mid-swing. You think these freaks own you? And Jack grabs a crowbar from the stack, swinging wild. Fueled by Ellie's trusting eyes, Benji's fearless grin. They own more heart than your whole damn empire. He roars back, bar connecting with a thug's knee, crack like thunder. Voss scrambles Shadow's ward, blood sheeting his sneer. Cronies limping wake, reapers stand tall, bruised halos in the lamps. Bear clapping Jack's back, held the line, brother. That's the forge. Jack's heaving, lip split, but buzzing alive, not just breathing, tasting that fire brotherhood, sweet and sharp. Word scorches faster than dry tinder. Half the Hollow brands Jack, one of them. The rest avert eyes and grudging nod. Yard shifts hush when he passes. Market moms yank tots aside. But home? Ellie's braiding her hair forge style. Benji aping hog revs with stick shifts. Porch sitting one eve, jacket pulled in his lap. Bear joins quiet. You're stitched in now, no unringin' that bell. Jack nods, faint smile cracking. Didn't pick this rodeo, but damn if it don't fit. Bear's grin ghosts. Gales strip a man bare, show the timber underneath. You stood oak. Laughter spills from the cabin, and Jack gets it. Kids ain't just hanging on. They're blooming wild. This tribe the soil they needed. Hollow simmers like a loaded .44, eyes tracking Jack from stoops, murmurs dogging his heels. But he ain't solo no more. Harley shadows his errands. Reapers lurking easy at the yard's edge, quiet sentinels. Tucking the young uns one night. Cheeks rosy from sled wars with Raven, Jack lingers, heart full sore. Outside, engines hum lullaby low. Porch calls, breath fogging, Bear's cherry glowing. You handed trust. Now you shoulder ours. Jack nods, weight settling comforting scary. Ridge gazing steady for once, storms just weather. February claws back fierce, snow knifing the panes. Jack storytelling by the hearth when the knock thuds heavy. Bear, frost-bearded grim. Voss is musterin' torches, chains, comin' tonight. Jack's veins ice whispers he'd braced for. Not this blaze. Voss's panic peaking, 'cause the reaper's pulls cracking his HOA web. Hollow folk murmuring 'bout fair shakes for once. Send the kids with us, Bear urges, steady, by time. Jack eyes their sleeping faces, firelit peace fear gnaws, but resolve steals. Nah, they stay. Trouble knocks, it finds me first. Bear searches, nods slow, then you're forged true. Harley's growl perimeter, beams defying the lash. First rock spiders the pain. Ellie shrieks, Benji burrows. Jack hauls, close, pulse war drum. Outside, bellows rise. Voss torchlit, mob snarling. Outlaw scum and their lapdog clear the Hollow. Jack shoves them back, flings the door swirl, sucks in, flames dancing mad. You left us to freeze, he thunders into the gale, voice cracking raw. They fed my babies when your community locked doors. Jeers roll, but ripples hit. Some torches dip, faces cracking doubt. Bear strides front, snow glistened. We claim no turf, Voss just what's ours by right. Mob surges, but hogs thunder awake, deafening the hate, drowning it in mechanical wrath. Jack grips the poker, flanks the lenient lone wolf no more. He's pack, voice unchained, fight unchoked. Hell breaks loose in the drift chains whip, fists plow snow, reapers clash wolf feral, each thud a vow. Jack swings desperate true, poker glancing a charge toward the door. Not my blood, you son of a. Voss lunges snarling. This dirt's mine. Harlan, your beggin' ends here. Close enough, Jack smells the fierce sweat under the bluster. Voss's empire crumbling in the melee cause one man stand spotlights his greed. My kid's dirt too. Jack spits back, poker arcing, grazing Voss's torch arm flame sputters. Man staggers, eyes wild with the hounds he's loose turning. Reapers whirl, Bear Mountain solid, hurling thugs like cordwood. Forge iron-fisted, cracking ribs with mechanics precision. Raven shadow quick, chains wrapping his own like boomerangs. Inside, Ellie and Benji peak terror-awe, daddy titan among giants. Voss stumbles coreward, twisted, you taint us all. Jack locks eyes, heaving, taint? You peddle poison for power, this is clean fight, for kin. Voss scans the steel ring, loyalty gleaming unburnable, falters mob fractures, torches snuffing in slush, limpers fleeing dark. Silence crashes heavy, Harley's idling heartbeat steady. Jack yard center, bruises blooming, lip oozing copper, but unbowed Bear's hand heavy. Gale proved you, Harlan. Bent for none. Ellie and Benji barrel out, clinging fierce. Ellie whispers, you were our lion, daddy. Throat lumps, Jack kisses her crown. Nah, sugar, we all roared. Reapers circle close, frost leather ring, round the fragile core for Jack. Worlds tilting permanent, years shadowed silent. Tonight? He bellowed louder in dread. Through blaze, through brawn, beside men the world tags monsters. Ain't just enduring Willow Creek no more. He's rooted, roaring in it. Spring creeps tardy to the hollow, melts singing rivers through the gulch. Yard grinds on, murmurs linger, but Jack strides unbowed. Crisp morn, reapers thunder up bare hands of vest. Blank slate save one stitched word, prospect. Jack trembles slipping it on, leather hugging like old skin. Ellie claps wild, Benji whoops, and for the first since Sarah's ghost, Jack's whole, not patched, cause of who held the line when the gale howled hungriest. Engines snarl alive, Ellie perched raven high, Benji yanking forges, whiskers gleeful. Jack meets Bear's nodkin, ain't badges or brawls. It's midnight rides for strangers young, loyalty thundering louder in lies. But here's the rub, folk storms forge families fierce. Yeah, but they leave scars that itch come summer. Jack's in the fold now, vest heavy with promise, but Voss? Licking wounds in his feed store throne, whispering to the HOA vultures, bout preserving the hollow's soul. Is Jack stand justice, or just trading one bully for another? Reapers ride for the lost, sure, but their roads paved with gray old runs, old scores that might drag Jack's babies into shadows he can't outrun. Brotherhood saved M, but at what toll when the next gale whispers Voss's name louder? Chew on that. Why, I'll hit the comments. Spill your gut. Ever stood with the outlaws against your own? Was it worth the hollow's hate, or just a prettier cage? Like if it hit home. Subscribe for more raw rides through the grit. Bell tap, so these tales don't ghost you. Your stories fuel the fire. Let's hash the hard truths together.